Hello viewers and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to discuss EDC or everyday carry, and I'm going to talk about the things that I carry on a daily basis. Now, everyday carry or EDC as is commonly known is something that's a highly personalized subject. It depends on what you do for a living, what part of the world you live in, your age, your gender. There are all kinds of different variables that go into the things that individuals carry every day. And the things in this video that we're going to talk about now are things that work for me and that I carry. And these are the things that have developed probably over the past 25 years or so since I started carrying various items that I use in my everyday life. So stick around and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, now I have everything that I carry out on the table, and we're going to go through each item one by one. Okay, so the first item is my wallet. It's pretty simple. It's made by Chums. These are really good wallets. They're very small, and at the same time, you can carry a lot of stuff in them. I just carry a couple of credit cards, my identification, my credentials, and one or two small items, and maybe a couple of dollars. I'm not going to empty the contents of my wallet now. You get the idea. You can buy these on Amazon for about 20 bucks. They come in all kinds of colors, and they're really nice. I like the American flag one, obviously. I always carry some cash. It's very important to have cash on you. I know that these days, a lot of people, especially millennials, they carry credit cards, and they figure they can just pay for everything with a credit card. You can use Uber, you can buy food, you can get whatever you want with a credit card. The problem is that hot dog vendors, for example, don't take credit cards. Vending machines sometimes don't take credit cards. Lots of places, might not take a credit card if their credit card system is down. If there's a grid down situation, you can forget about credit cards. So it's important to carry some cash. And in my wallet, I carry some backup cash, also a couple of $100 that, it's just folded up and I never take it out. My keys are just a set of keys. I drive a Chevy, obviously. Most people carry some kind of a key fob. I like this kind of key fob with the push button inside the car. I've been driving the same car for a while now. The other key is just my post office box key, and I have a little bottle opener on here. The next item is my cell phone. Everybody, or most people that I know, carry a cell phone. This is actually an old cell phone because I am filming on my cell phone. But it's a good idea to have your cell phone with you. It is your lifeline to your loved ones. It is your lifeline to assistance if it becomes necessary. It's very important to be able to communicate. And these days, cell phones are ubiquitous. I mean, everybody's got one. And you can do pretty much anything. With a smartphone, you can do all your banking. You can do a lot of other stuff, emails, other types of business. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can get the job done if necessary. It's also a good idea to have a case. I don't remember who makes this particular case. I don't have this one on my current phone, but it's got one of these. Well, this is the reason, probably because it's broken. But this got one of these pop-up stands, which, is convenient. And also, in the event that you drop the phone, hopefully it won't break. This one actually did break a while ago, but it's been replaced. In any event, cell phone. So the next item that I carry is a pocket knife. It's a spring assist pocket knife. It's made by Best Tech Knives. This is a Tanto blade, and it's made, I believe this is 550 steel, but I'm not 100% sure. It's got G10 handles. It's a nice quality knife. It flips open very easily. It's a very, very good utility knife. I use it constantly. Came relatively sharp. I had to put a little bit of a better edge on it, but now it's really, really, it's really sharp. In any event, it's got a nice deep pocket clip. I really like this clip because it kind of looks like a pen. And when you stick this in your pocket, the top of the knife is not sticking out, so it's very difficult to tell that you're carrying a pocket knife. A lot of people spot you, they see you carrying a knife, they figure maybe you're carrying something else or whatever. I live Unfortunately, not in America, but in the People's Republic of New Yorkistan. If the cops see one of these clips, they right away, ask you questions. Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but I don't have an issue with that. But the point is that this makes covert carry a lot better. The next item I carry is a pen. This is, in some ways, a normal ballpoint pen. It writes upside down. It writes in black ink. That's about it as far as that goes. But the housing of the pen is what's more important. This is manufactured, I believe, by Voodoo Tactical. Yes, it is. This is what I'd like to call a persuader, so to speak. Basically, you can use this as a force multiplier to use to exert pressure or strike the soft tissues of the body. This is fantastic as a defensive item. This gets past basically all security. I bring this on an airplane routinely without being stopped by TSA in at least 16 different states so far. No problems. So I assume that I'll be able to go anywhere. And it really, in close quarters, if you have nothing else, or you need to use something that's much less than lethal, this is fantastic. You stick somebody in the ribs and they're going to comply immediately. Stick them in the soft parts of their hands, eyes, throat, temples, strike on the head. It's an excellent, excellent tool that can be used to persuade your subject to comply. So that's the pen that I carry. The next item I carry is a handkerchief. This is an ordinary handkerchief. There's nothing special about it. It's a cotton handkerchief. I think it's got skulls on it. Here we go. And it's a bandana made by Zan Headgear USA. I don't even know when I got this. I have about a half a dozen of them. They just get rotated and washed like socks or underwear. A bandana, handkerchief, or whatever you want to call it, is a good idea to have for a huge number of reasons. You need to wipe off a seat for your wife to sit down because it's been raining outside. You need to wipe your face because you've been sweating while you're changing a tire. You need to wipe something else that you're doing some other manly activity. It's extremely important to have some kind of piece of cloth. Plus, this serves a lot of other purposes. You can strain water through it if you're in a survival situation. You can use it as a sling if you hurt an arm. You can use it as a makeshift tourniquet with some kind of a windlass that you can probably make out of something else. The number of uses for a bandana are endless. Stick it in your pocket. It's a good idea to have. Makeshift mask. Next item that I carry is Listerine Cool Mint Pocket Mist Breath Spray. Breath spray is a good idea to have with you. I don't chew gum that often, and very often I can't chew gum because I have to speak or whatever, and it's just not possible. But fresh breath for me is very important, so I carry a little Listerine Pocket Mist with me. Okay, so this is a small kit that I keep in my pocket and that I carry around with me all the time. It contains a bunch of items. I'm going to take them out and go through them one by one. This kit is personal to me. It contains items that I use on a regular basis, and that there are things that I would need on a regular basis that I like to have with me, and that I always do have. I use every single thing in this kit regularly, and it's morphed and evolved over the years. From time to time, I'll find a better piece of kit that I can replace one of my tools with. I'll go over that in a second. And it really contains everything that I find that I need. But again, this is really personal to me. You might need something else. It's encased in a Ranger band, so we've got a Ranger band there. This the pouch is nothing more than a repurposed neoprene Logitech pouch. I probably got this with some kind of mini hard drive or maybe a pair of headphones. Honestly, I have no idea. I've been using it for quite a long time. I've been carrying this more than 6 years now, probably. So wherever it came from, it's about 3 inches by 4 inches. It's made of neoprene. It's secured by Velcro. So the first thing I have is a little boo-boo kit. I'm not going to take the Boo Boo Kit apart, but it contains a couple of Band-Aids in assorted sizes. It contains a couple of alcohol wipes, and it contains a sleeve of electrolyte replacing powder that you can mix with water. I think this is lemonade flavored, but if you're getting dehydrated, it's actually a very important that you have something like that. So that's the first thing, Boo Boo Kit. Next item I have is a Fresnel lens. It's just it's a magnifying lens. So you see it magnifies, right? It's wrapped in plastic so it doesn't get scratched, although I doubt it would get scratched. It's made out of plastic, it's flexible. You can start a solar fire with this if you want to. You can burn ants if you're bored. I'm only joking about that. There are a lot of different reasons to have a magnifying lens. Since this is about the size of a credit card, but much, much thinner and much lighter, it weighs less than a gram, not a terrible idea to have one with you. Fresnel lens. Next item in the bag, flashlight. This is a Tool AA 2.0, and it's made by Illumintop. Actually, it's powered by a AA battery, and this is, for its size, a fantastic flashlight, for its size and its price. There are a bunch of other companies that make more expensive, fancier lights, but they're significantly more expensive. I don't think I paid $20 for this. I think it was less than that. It's got a excuse me, it's got a maximum output of, as I understand it, 450 lumens. It's got a choice of a couple of different power settings, and if I can get it to work, there we go. It's got a strobe setting, which is very nice in a defensive situation. You just double tap the end and you get the strobe. And you shine this in somebody's face, it might give you a second or two to run or to fight, depending on the circumstance. The pocket clip on this, which I don't use in the pouch, but is still obviously on the light, one of the nice advantages is that you can remove it, reverse it, and then you can hook it onto the front of your hat. And then you can use this lamp as a hands-free light if it's necessary. So I really like that. You don't see that on a lot of lights. You see it on some, but not too many. So that's it, flashlight. I know you're going to say, oh, well, you have a flashlight on your phone. Yeah, I have a flashlight on my phone. The flashlight on your phone is not should not be considered as a dedicated light source. Number one, it's not a focused light source. It's a general fill light source. So it's not fantastic for long distance. Number two, you don't want to run down the battery on your phone if you have an emergency. Regular flashlight you use in all kinds of situations, not an emergency. I dropped something behind a desk. I can't see a part in my car that I'm trying to fix. Looking for something in my bag in the dark or whatever. It's a good idea to have a flashlight with you. Next item in the bag. A Sharpie. This is a mini Sharpie. It's black. And it writes in indelible ink in black. That's really all I have to say about a Sharpie. It's a good idea to have a Sharpie with you for a myriad of reasons. If you need to write something that you don't want to disappear, if you need to write on something other than paper, glass, a refrigerator, whatever. It's a good idea to have a Sharpie. Next item. It's a small accessory kit. I have a few paper clips, a few rubber bands, and a few safety pins. You never know when you might need something like this. You lose a button. You need to clip papers together. You had a rubber band around something and it broke. For whatever reason, it's a good idea to have these. They take up very small amount of space. I basically took a larger Ziploc bag and I just, shrank it down to a smaller size to accommodate. So this is sort of a little custom bag there. That's my accessory kit. I have a little bit of cordage. This is tarred bank line. It's about 15 feet of line here, and I have it wrapped up tight. Cordage is good for a lot of different reasons. You might have to secure something, you break a shoelace, a myriad of reasons to have cord. It's not a bad idea. If you're bored, you can take it out and practice your knot tying. A little bit of cordage. This is the Gerber Dime. I used to carry the Leatherman Squirt. The reason that I switched over to the Gerber dime is because I liked the exposed bottle opener. It makes it easier than to have to open it up and open bottles. And the second thing that I like about this that was not available on the Leatherman Squirt is a pair of tweezers. A pair of tweezers is important to carry around with you. It comes in handy in a lot of different circumstances. It's important if you have a splinter, something jammed up under your nail, who knows what, to get that out, all right? Because that's going to get infected and you're going to have a problem later on. And I really like that I have tweezers in addition to the other tools. Those of you who are not familiar with the Gerber dime, it is a pair of pliers. It's spring-assisted pliers, so it's the type of pliers that open back up, which I really like. They're a very good pair of pliers. If you don't carry around a pair of pliers, and sometimes I'm wearing a suit and I still use the pliers, you'll use pliers and you'll find that you have more uses for these types of tools once you start to carry them, and after a little while you'll wonder how it is that you lived without them. It also has a pair of scissors. Sometimes a knife is good, but scissors are better. If you want to cut out an article from a newspaper or something like that, rather than taking out a big pocket knife and start cutting it out on a table, little pair of scissors. If you need to cut open a bag, cut open a package, or some kind of food item or whatever, it's not a bad idea to have a pair of scissors. And then it's got a bunch of other things. We have a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver. There's a file in here. There's a regular blade, which unfortunately turns this is a box opening blade, which is great. And then this horribly, horribly deadly blade, which is about 1.25 inches, and now turns this into a TSA no-no. I have regrettably sacrificed several Gerber dimes, forgetting that I had one in my pocket or my bag, and then going through the TSA checkpoints and unfortunately having to ditch it. So they're only about $11. It's not the end of the world, but still, it's a very good tool. I have a Bic lighter. I don't smoke, but I do carry a lighter because you never know when you may need fire. Man has enjoyed the ability to start fire for a while now, so it's a good idea to have a lighter. I keep a rubber band wrapped around the bottom of the gas plunger so that it won't discharge by accident inside my pouch and then end up empty. But you can still flick your Bic even with the rubber band on. I also have a little bit of duct tape wrapped around the middle of it. Even though this is a mini, I have a decent amount of duct tape. There's about 5 feet of duct tape wrapped around. Duct tape has a myriad of uses. I can make an entire video on the uses of duct tape, but it's a great idea to have some duct tape with you. It's also a fire extender. In the event that you actually have to start a fire, this is basically tinder for you. I also carry a little bit of cotton tinder that's been dipped in wax, and that's also a little bit of tinder. So that's it on the lighter. Last item in the pouch, as strange as this may seem, is a titanium toothpick. You can remove the toothpick and use it by itself, or you can attach it to the end here and make a bigger toothpick. I cannot stress how important it is to maintain good dental hygiene. You can't brush your teeth with one of these, but you can remove something. It happens all the time where you get a little piece of food stuck in between your teeth, and besides being extremely annoying and very unhygienic, you leave it there for a little while and you may end up causing problems. So I carry this around. This was a gift. Under normal circumstances, I probably wouldn't have bought this. It was a little bit pricey. I looked it up on Amazon. Someone gave it to me a couple of years ago, and I've been carrying it since, and I do use it every day. Really, it's tiny. It's no bigger than, I guess, maybe 2 ordinary wooden toothpicks, except it will last you forever, and it's basically, I'm not going to say it's indestructible, but it's very, very strong. And that concludes the pouch. The next item in my everyday carry is a firearm. Before we get to the firearm, I just want to mention that all of the products that I discuss in this video, including the things that I'm going to talk about right now, are items that I purchased myself, with a couple of exceptions of things that might have been gifts. I have no affiliation with any of the manufacturers of any of these products. They did not send me these items to review. They do not know who I am. I bought all of these items with my own money. That being said, let's first talk about the holster. This is a Vetter IWB light tuck holster. It's an inside the waistband holster. It comes with a claw for additional concealment and a inside the waistband clip. Let me say this, again, not necessarily endorsing any product, but I've been carrying a firearm for more than 20 years. I have a Tupperware big enough to baste a turkey, filled with old holsters that are not as good as this one. So that being said, if you know of a better holster to conceal a Glock 19 with a light and an optic, I would love to hear about it. Please put a link down in the description. That being said, let's talk about my firearm. First things first, we're going to clear and show safe. Gun's empty. Slide down. Hammer down. Okay. So this is a Glock 19. It's a Gen 3. I have an aftermarket slide on it. This is from Brownells to accommodate the optics cut. This particular firearm has a white light on it. I strongly urge everybody who carries a firearm for defensive use or who has one at home, any defensive firearm, whether it's a pistol or a rifle or a shotgun or whatever, needs to have some kind of white light on it. You have to be able to identify your target before you shoot at it. If you don't know what you're shooting at, don't shoot at it, because the repercussions of shooting the wrong thing or the wrong person can be considerable in legal terms, in criminal prosecution, in financial distress, and in moral issues that you have to deal with in the event that you shoot somebody that you weren't supposed to shoot, and you end up killing somebody that didn't deserve to be killed. So a white light on any defensive firearm is an absolute must, in my opinion. Again, that's just my opinion. My eyes are getting old, so about 5-6 years ago, I started running a red dot optic. I started out with the Trijicon RMR, which is a phenomenal red dot. It is, from what I can ascertain, indestructible. It's used heavily by the military. The only downside to the RMR is the window is a little bit small. And as a result, it takes me an extra maybe quarter of a second to pick up the dot. And for people who regularly use firearms, you know that that quarter of a second can mean a lifetime, and you know exactly what I mean. So this is the Trijicon SRO, which is just a bigger window. It's not as hardy and robust as an RMR, but quite frankly, I'm not going into battle. I'm not in the military, and hopefully I won't drop my gun, which I never have before. So I don't think I'll have a problem with that. I have an Agency Arms aftermarket barrel in here. It's a 9mm for the Glock 19. And the stippling I did myself. So that's my firearm, which I'm going to put back into the holster now. I always carry an extra magazine. I strongly urge anybody who carries a pistol to carry an extra magazine. This magazine holster, or rather this magazine holder, I'm not sure who manufactures. I think it's probably Polcraft, although they might make the belt clip, because sometimes I put these together myself, so I honestly have no idea. The last thing I want to mention is these base plates. These are made by Taran Tactical. Taran Butler runs a phenomenal outfit. He doesn't know me, I don't know him, but I enjoy his videos very much. I urge you to check them out. These base plates are excellent for a carry gun. They absolutely ensure that your magazines drop free, regardless of the situation. They give a little bit of extra weight, and they look nice, so that's why I like them. They differentiate my carry magazines from my practice magazines as well, so that's just another benefit for me. And that's my firearm. The last item of my everyday carry is a wristwatch. These days, I notice that a lot of people don't bother to wear a wristwatch anymore. They just look on their phone for the time. I do that myself, but I do wear a wristwatch for a reason, and this particular one specifically. This is a Rolex Submariner. It is a kind of expensive wristwatch, but it has a couple of characteristics that are unique. Number one, it fits in any occasion. You can be wearing a tuxedo, business suit, casual clothing, or a bathing suit, and it fits in equally well everywhere. This is a stainless steel model. It's not gold, so it's not particularly flashy. It's waterproof. It's an automatic, which means that I don't have to rely on batteries. It's self-winding, so as long as I have the correct time set and I'm wearing the watch, it's always going to have the right time. I take it off at night. I don't sleep with it on. It continues to run for, it'll run for I think 3 days without winding. The reason that I wear a Rolex Submariner is, besides the fact that it's a good-looking watch and I really like it, is that if I'm outside of the country or somewhere here, even in the United States, this watch can be currency. And if I need to trade this watch for somebody's old beat-up van to get my family out of a bad situation, if we're on vacation somewhere and there's some kind of civil unrest or whatever, and I don't have a lot of cash in their currency and whatnot, everyone knows what a Rolex is. I can easily trade this for somebody's beater vehicle. I can easily trade this for maybe a ride on a boat or something else that I need. And this is something that I can always replace. So that's the reason why I wear this particular watch, but I think it's important to wear a wristwatch in any event. Well, that's our video on Everyday Carry. From all of us at Outdoor Adventure Training Systems, thank you very much for watching. Please put all your questions and comments down below and be sure to hit like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos in the future.